Along my game's project development, I've made some, let's call them educational mistakes that have either slowed me down or caused me painful and needless frustrations. The biggest pitfall, and the thing I want you to really take away from this video, is the danger of scope creep. Now, you might think this doesn't apply to you, and so did I, which was a big mistake, so keep watching to find out more. Overcomplicating systems can be a byproduct of overscoping without setting a clear and tested foundation. I personally did this with character selection in my game. Basically, from the get-go I knew I wanted multiple playable characters so that the game would have more replay value. While this is great in theory, I didn't even know the limits of each character, so I basically made every little detail customizable. I had arrays within arrays that tackled everything from sprites' cooldown abilities to the intricacies of weapon stats and other variables. This would have been fine if I knew for certain that I'd use all these variables, but I was basing it on too many assumptions. In my opinion, it's best to work out the core mechanics first and see what the essence of the gameplay is, instead of building a ton of customizable features that you may never use again. I knew I wanted the game to be combat heavy, but it took me 4 months before I even started on combat. And looking back, that was one of my biggest mistakes. It might sound tedious, but proper naming can save you a ton of time. Too often have I seen people use weird cryptic letters instead of variable names that actually mean something. Like this one time I decided to hire a guy from Fiverr, and for 30 bucks it was fine, except when I had to come back and scale it up, and I didn't know what the hell I was reading. Like, what is C in this situation? Felt like I was decrypting a different language every time before I could even begin working. In the end, it was a waste of money, and I might as well have built the whole thing myself from scratch. The main takeaway is, keep naming conventions descriptive and clear, please. If you ever come back to your code after a month and you're scratching your head trying to figure out how it was all put together, or forgot how game-breaking a small snippet was, looking back, I could have saved hours down the line with a few seconds of commenting. In a perfect world, code would be readable and understandable enough on its own. See them more as guidelines than actual facts. Code changes over time, and comments, when done right, are updated alongside it. And again, keep it short, clear, and descriptive. One thing I've used comments for as well was to note down what parts need refinement in the future. A good example of reusability is the enemies of the wildly successful game Vampire Survivors. The developer, Luca Gallant, did a great job of tweaking a few key variables to make the enemies feel noticeably different. These can be boiled down to 4 things: health, speed, damage, and spawn frequency. Things like movement patterns or animations are actually quite similar across the board. In this way, Vampire Survivors manages to reuse similar patterns and code while providing a rich and diverse gaming experience. I'm trying to apply a similar design philosophy for my game, although I'm not quite where I want it to be yet. At the same time, I do want to offer enough variety, even if it means breaking these restrictions. With the ultimate ability finally completed, I'm now quite happy with the variety of player attacks. I tried to do something else with this video, and I hope some of the tips I provided were helpful. Next up for DUSK VALLEY, I want to finalize the enemies and create some more testable levels. After that, I will add level selection and the town area. While it's been pretty fun, I do want to just get this product out there, so I'll mostly be sticking to this list of features and not adding anything new. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.